Well, this is Baruch at the Tiguan Elevator Kollel. This is a shiur on Jewish astrology, a cosmic science. These are the words of Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg. He writes like this: as the machlokes that seems to have developed, in which the great scholar Rabbi Yaakov Hillel really panned. He really did not like what he saw in Kabbalah. So what does he mean in palmistry, and particularly in amulets and many different things, astrology included? So he says, I'm going to skip a little of what he wrote because it's not important to us, and go on. Coming back to the book of our friend, my dear friend, the important big rabbi in Kabbalah, Rav Hillel, with no secret is where no secret is hidden from him, and all his intention is to do good, to save his people, Am Yisrael. And from what? From these men who are using magic and demons to show their power. So apparently in Eretz Yisrael, you don't see that here in the United States. But in Eretz Yisrael, you do. And they are tricking the people. So they're trying to trick people, like fortune tellers, to come to them, and they're requesting a lot of money. They're making them take oaths, and sometimes they mix the holy with the profane, demons with the holy angels. And sometimes they cause great damage to the ones that ask them, and the people, they don't even feel the damage done to them. It's just that subtle. And the amulets that they make are quackeries, and because of this, you should stay away from all of these people. So we have to understand the backstory for different kinds of criticisms. And certainly Rav Hillel did a great thing that he wrote this book, and I bless him that everything will go well with him in his life, etc., etc. So you see, from this, I'll tell you what my teacher in America said. Once I asked him why the Rambam was so against astrology. He told me this. My teacher could say a book in a sentence. He told me that the Rambam wasn't against astrology. He was against astrologers. And that's what the same thing Rav Kaduri is saying here. Look, it's a book of polemics. Really, you know, see how I have a tradition to do amulets. This is what Rav Kaduri writes. From my teacher, who is his teacher, Rav Yehuda Fataya. Rav Yehuda Fataya is the Beis Lechem Yehuda, tremendous pirush on the Eitz Chaim, all the way from the beginning to the end. Who from his teacher, the Ben Ish Chai, he came from the Ben Ish Chai, going back generations. You see that lotteries are cast. You see that this actually happened. I didn't mention a lottery cast 93 different times that lots are taken in the Tanakh and in the Torah. We have a tradition, but yeah, the problem is what? The problem is the people themselves, the astrologers, the palmists. Who are they? So exactly how does one get to a position of power over other people? The people are coming, they know nothing, and the people who do know are in hiding. If I remember, I went to a couple of the big rabbis on a question, backwards of our generation, and they all permitted me to do astrology. Even one big rabbi, the head of a yeshiva, a Lithuanian rabbi, permitted me to predict the future. And it's interesting in the book, a lot of it is more against the practitioners than against the practice. I was just joking in the book, and I see there was a little approbation at Rav Sternbach. He was the chief rabbi of South Africa, and while I'm pretty sure I don't have the book with me to reference it, but he wrote a book of questions and answers years ago, and he permitted people to go to palmists. And now I'm looking at his letter. Now I found the letter, I guess. Did you find it? The letter of approbation, and in that letter he says that true palmistry has been lost. People really don't know how to read the hands anymore. I remember he permitted palmistry, so probably he would also permit astrology. And I've been to big rabbis who permitted me to practice astrology. So in that letter, in his approbation, here he says, from the standpoint of Jewish law, it is permitted to go to palmists. But it is my feeling that the real palmistry has been lost. Now, I would say that I'm speaking for myself now, But I would say that is looking at this, so is the attempt of Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg to not have real, true astrology lost. So he says, and you'll see in the next piece where he goes with this. He says, today, the people who practice palmistry, they don't really know it. If you look at the Zohar teaches palmistry, and they have a lot of a whole section of the Zohar that talks about the laws of palmistry. Many pages there in chapter in Parshas Jethro or Yisro. So went back a little on what he said, that I guess you could go, but the real palmistry has been lost. And I think that Lubavitcher Rebbe also had a theory like that, which I think is also true in astrology. This is what Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg wants to say. You have to say that there are objections. Are objections, and we've talked about all of them up to this point. He says a lot of the real astrology has been lost. That's the problem. It is work to find it, and let me try it again. And it is work to find it, and our work is to find the lost tradition. Now, in the next piece, going back to the concept of the basic model of the universe, we're going to get to this concept called esoteric astrology. From esoteric astrology, well, esoteric astrology is a concept that not that many people can follow, so it's advanced. Even it's written in English, and we'll try to work on it and see the best we can do. This is Baruch Fleischman at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.